Hello everyone, we are from group 6 that consists of me, Ardi Nurdiansyah, and then Azizah Nur Fadhilah, and then the last, Dewi Wulansari. Here we're going to explain about phonology. For the first one, phonology, the sound patterns of language. There are only a dozen or so features needed to describe every speech sound in every human language. All the languages in the world, the sounds are different because the way the language use speech sound to form pattern differs from language to language. The study of how speech sound form the study of how sound from pattern it is phonology. Phonology tells us what sounds are in a language, how they do and can combine into words, and explain why certain phonetic features are important to identifying a word. Submaterial is the pronunciation of morphemes for the plural word. Sometimes certain morphemes are pronounced differently depending on their context. For example, the English plural morpheme has 3 different pronunciation depending on what noun you attach it to. For the first, it gets pronounced as Z for words like cab, bag, and bar, and then it gets pronounced as S for words like cap, back, and faith. The last, it gets pronounced as is for words like bus, garage, and match. To help us figure out what is different between the phonological environments of the words that take the S, C, and S allomorphs, we can look for minimal pairs. A minimal pair is two words with different meanings that are identical except for one sound that occurs in the same place in each word. Minimal pair whose members take different forms of the plural allomorph are particularly helpful for our purposes. For example, cab and cap differ only by their final sound. So since each word takes a different allomorph, we can assume that the allomorph is selected based on the final sound or the noun. We can make a generalization about the environment in which each allomorph occurs based on knowledge of natural classes. Z occurs after voiced non-sibilant segments, and then S occurs after voiceless non-sibilant segment, and Z occurs after sibilant segments. We can simplify this even more by creating a rule that assumes Z in the basic or underlying form of the plural. Then we have two rules to explain why the other allomorphs occur. Insert a before plural morphem Z when a regular noun ends in a sibilant giving as, and change the plural morphem Z to a voiceless S when preceded by a voiceless sound. The English possessive morphem and the third person singular morpheme have allomorphs that take on the same phonetic form as the plural morpheme and are governed by the same rules. For example, for possessive, add z to woman to get women's. Add z to women to get women's. And then add s to ship to get ships. And then add as to judge to get judges. And for the third person singular, add z to need to get needs. Add s to eat to get eat, and add s to rush to get rushes. For the next is phonemes, the phonological unit of language. Phonemes are the basic unit of sounds and is sensed in your mind rather than spoken or heard. Each phoneme has one or more sounds called allophones is associated with it, which represent the actual sound being produced in various environments. Vowel nasalization in English. English contains an allophonic rule that determines context in which vowels are nasalized. Vowels are nasalized before a nasal consonant within the same syllable structure. You could change the nasalization when you pronounce these words if you were aware that you did this, and although it would sound strange, it would not change the meaning of the word. Because nasalized vowels are not used to make a meaning contrast, we tend to not even notice them. Unlike nasalization, vowel height is used to make meaning contrast in English. So, if you substitute a vowel of a different height in a word, you are likely to change the meaning of the word. Substituting one sound for another to see if it makes a difference in meaning is a good way to identify phonemes. If you substitute one sound for another and the meaning change, then those two sounds are separate phonemes. When you do this substitution, you are creating minimal pairs. This dialect of English has 14 different vowel phonemes, and all of these phonemes has at least two allophones: the nasal version, which occurs before nasal consonants, and then the oral version, which...
Hello, my name is Azizah Nur Fadhilah. So here I will continue the material. Material is allophone of T. Consonant also have allophones. Like the example, the word thick. Thick. T is pronounced th before the stress vowel. If we pronounce thick as thick, it is we are still speaking the same word, even if the sound strange because their allophones of T do not contrast. So the meaning also will different. The next material is complementary distribution. Allophone of phonemes are in complementary distribution. The meaning is they never occur in the same environment. Complementary distribution, the example from the writing system, can help illustrate the idea of the complementary distribution. The first is each letter of the English can appear in uppercase or lowercase form. but uppercase only occur in certain contents, like the beginning of the word and in everywhere. We also can get the lowercase. The second is in cursive handwriting. The letter may get written differently depending on the what comes before and after. Each variant is depend on the context. Complementary distribution. When the sound are in complementary distribution, they do not contrast with each other. The complement of one sound of the other will not change the meaning of the word. The phonemes is a set of phonologically similar sounds that are in complementary distribution. A set may consist of the only one member, which would mean that a phoneme is only pronounced in one way. I will continue the material. The first is distinctive feature of phonemes. For two tones or sound to contrast meaning, there must be some difference between them. For example, the phonetic feature for voicing distinguishes S from Z. When a feature distinguishes one phoneme from another, it is distinctive feature or a phonetic feature. The second is feature values. Feature have two values. The first is plus feature and negative feature to indicate the presence or absence of that particular feature. For example, B is plus voice and P is negative voice. At least one feature difference must distinguish each phoneme of a language. The third is non-distinctive feature. When feature is predicable by a rule for a certain class of sound, that feature is a non-distinctive or redundant or predicable feature for that class. For example, nasalization is redundant feature from English vowel, but it is distinctive from English consonant. But in Akan and French nasalization is a distinctive feature for vowel. Also, aspiration is non-distinctive feature for voiceless stop in English. The fourth is phonetic pattern may vary across language. The same phonemes may occur in two languages but pattern differently because the phonologies of the language are different. While aspiration is not distinctive in English, it is distinctive in Thai. The next is ASL phonology. Sign can also be broken down into feature. The location, movement, and the hand shape are distinctive feature. Minimally, pair can be found to prove that this feature is distinctive. There are also non-distinctive features of ASL, such as whether a side is articulate with the right or the left hand. The last is feature specification for American English consonant and vowel. The feature matrix for vowel and consonant in English by selecting all segments mark the same of one or more feature. You can identify natural classes. For example, the natural class of English vowel, the high vowel, is marked plus high in the vowel feature.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Dewi Wulansari. I'm from group 6. Saya pemateri ketiga mau menjelaskan tentang the rules of phonology. The rules of phonology itu ada 5 types yang saya tahu, yaitu simulation, dissimulation, deletion, insertion, dan the last metathesis. Oke, mari kita let's go. Oke, saya akan menjelaskan tentang assimilation. Assimilation itu adalah When a sound becomes more like a neighbor sound with respect to some phonetic property. Maksudnya tuh kayak apa ya? Assimilation tuh sama gitu. Penulisan sama phonologicalnya. Nih, for example, I write winter. Can you see winter? Di sini pengucapannya winner. Tidak beda jauh kan? Ini tulisannya sama pronunciation-nya. Makanya tersebut assimilation. Yang kedua ada center, dibacanya pronunciation-nya center. Assimilation itu tuh tulisan sama ini ya phonologicalnya tuh nggak beda jauh seperti yang kita tahu. Bahasa Inggris itu tuh kadang suka kadang tuh tulisan sama pengucapan itu tuh suka beda, tapi kalau assimilation itu tulisan sama pengucapannya itu nggak beda jauh. Okay, next, dissimilation. Dissimilation is a rule in which a segment become less similar to another segment. Jadi itu dissimilation tuh gini contohnya, misalnya ya bahasa Inggrisnya 6 itu 6 ya, 6. Gini, can you see my writing 6. Terus phonologicalnya tuh SIXT. Just not H-nya tuh hilang. Jadi hanya SIXT. And then ini dinamanya defricative. Defricative becomes dissimilar to the preceding infinitive by becoming stop. Nah, terus di sini juga ada English adapted the French word meber. Nih, meber meaning marble. Meber itu maksudnya tuh marble. Ini. I'm sorry, my writing is bad. And in doing this dissimulated the second. Nih, di sini perbedaannya meber ini R kan. Kalau marble di sini L. Ya, ini dissimilation itu sangat berbeda di tulisan sama pengucapannya tuh sangat berbeda. Terus yang ketiga ada deletion. Deletion is remove a segment from certain phonetic context. Nih, for example, contohnya ini dissimilation. Di sini ada deletion. Deletion ini, for example, ini bomb. Do you know bomb? Bomb ini kan BOMB. Di phonologicalnya atau IPA maybe ya. Forget B kayak ini. Gini. Delete B-nya. Jadinya just BAM. Example yang kedua ada cram, begini cram. API-nya ke A begini M. Delete B-nya juga. Terus yang ke the next ada insertion. Insertion itu apa? Insert kan nama juga insert, berarti menambahkan. Insertion itu adalah insert a syllable or non-syllable segment also known as epenthesis. For example ini film VILM. Di sini IPA-nya atau phonological ditambahkan sebuah huruf ini, set gitu. Can you see film just FELM, but di phonological ditambahin ini. Di sini nggak ada kan A kayak gini, pas lagi ditaruh IPA atau phonological ditambahin. Makanya insertion asal itu artinya menambahkan. Terus ada contoh kedua, ini ankle. Ini juga ditambahkan. Lagi ini N K E L. Seperti yang kita lihat loh. Ini di sini hanya A N K L E. Di sini ada huruf kayak gini N K E L. Sedangkan ini cuma berapa huruf? Di sini ada ininya, di sini tidak ada itunya. Tidak ada huruf A kayak gitu. Yang terakhir adalah metathesis. Metathesis itu adalah it happens when two sounds switch place. When they itu tuh kayak switch gitu loh, berganti. Misalnya X itu artinya bertanya. Di sini ada pronunciation-nya atau phonological seperti ini, S K T ini. Terus ada juga yang gini, S K terlebih dahulu, S T. Nih, ini sangat switch banget kan, lihat di sini didahului S, K baru T. Di sini K dulu baru S baru T. Ini dinamakan metathesis, penukaran. Function phonological. The function phonological itu aturan phonological menyediakan informal fonetik, yaitu yang diperlukan untuk pengucapan derivasi atau cara aturan phonological berlaku untuk representasi fonetik yang mendasari untuk menciptakan referensi fonetik. Dan materi terakhir saya ada slip of the tongue.